A parent is calling for guidelines around how politicians communicate directly with young people on social media.
She's concerned after finding out David Seymour replied to Snapchat messages from her then 14-year-old daughter and other teens back in 2016. Both the ACT leader and the students say the content was not inappropriate.
But the mother says the fact a much older politician was directly messaging them at all is bizarre. Seymour says he was just being courteous. Perry Wilton reports.
So this one is one of the streaks that he sent.
This former Epsom Girls Grammar student was 14 when she started messaging David Seymour. It was 2016 and Snapchatting the politician had become common schoolyard fun.
It was kind of talked about between schools, high schools in Auckland, that if you were to Snapchat David Seymour, he'll reply, basically no matter what you say.
Snapchat allows users to send messages and images that last a few seconds before they're automatically deleted. She would always initiate the messaging, and Seymour would sometimes reply on consecutive days, making what Snapchat calls a streak.
Sent him a selfie of me and a bunch of my girlfriends at 15, drinking vodka cruises, a selfie with us all holding them, saying, "Oh, come to my party, come to my party." And this was his response.
Seymour replied to one invitation, "Hope you're not in trouble. Oh, thanks for the invite." Her mother had no idea about the messaging at the time and says any parent would be uncomfortable with their teenager messaging a 30 or 40-year-old man.
Honestly, I just find the whole thing quite bizarre. Reiterated many times that there was nothing inappropriate in the messages themselves, but I think that contact, direct one-on-one, and particularly via Snapchat itself is inappropriate. He must have been having many messages come through, and it's like, well, who's actually got the time?
Another thing I'm noticing is he replied here at midnight.
This former Auckland grammar student also messaged Seymour when he was 15. He says at the time it was hilarious.
And I was like, yes, thank you. And yeah, I remember going around school that day and showing everyone that David Seymour had replied to me. That was a big moment.
He says the messages from Seymour were not inappropriate.
Yeah, there was no malevolence behind it or anything. I think I'd like to get that out there. And at the time, talking to him, I felt very safe and comfortable.
But now he's in his early 20s. His feelings about whether MPs should be able to communicate directly with minors have changed.
Yeah, having an adult have such free access to so many students is, yeah, I don't like it at all, regardless of what they talked about or anything like that.
David Seymour is making no apologies for replying to the students, saying he was being courteous.
I've done absolutely nothing wrong other than be responsive using the technology of the time. I've always sought to behave the same online as I am in person. School kids come up to me and ask for selfies. I think it'd be a terrible thing if New Zealand got to the stage where I had to say, no, sorry, you don't have permission from your parents.
But that doesn't sit well with this parent, who wants a change in how politicians can communicate with children.
Guidelines or rules or regulations in place so this sort of thing doesn't happen and isn't allowed to happen.
David Seymour says he barely uses Snapchat anymore, saying other social media sites are more relevant.
OK, well, Perry is with us now. So what more did David Seymour have to say about this?
Yes, good evening. David Seymour adamant today that there is nothing to see here. He said that normally people are concerned with the fact that young people aren't engaged in politics, but he says that he's a politician who is willing to engage with them. But this isn't the first time that perhaps generational differences or social media judgment have landed politicians into this exact debate. National MP Chris Bishop told media in 2018 that he'd be changing his Snapchat settings after parents were concerned with his communications with young people, but David Seymour made no such promises like that today. It's also worth noting that the people we spoke to for this story wanted their privacy respected due to Seymour's political position.
Perry Wilton live for us in the studio. Thanks very much.